Hi, it's Joycelyn with Love, Passion, and Happiness. How many of you have ever been called a thinker? You know, people say stuff like, you think too much, or you overthink, or you always thinking something. Why can't you just not think? How many of you have that happened to? Right? So I've been a thinker my whole life. I've always been a thinker. Oh my gosh, I have a most amazing creative imagination. I can see stuff happening that is not even on the map. I didn't do anything to get that. That's just who I am. That's what I do. I didn't wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a thinker. No, it just happened, and that's who I am. But what I struggled with is that dealing with people and situations where they made me out to be like something was wrong with me. Like, you think too much, or I can't listen to everything you have to talk about, or not now, or I'm too busy to listen to that. You know, people that put you off, people who put you off because they're saying, you aren't what I want to deal with, so I'm going to put you off. I'm busy. I don't want to hear that. You're thinking too much. Stop overthinking. Right? So that's the struggle. The struggle wasn't me thinking too much. The struggle was my response from people around me, right? So thinking, that's exactly what this is about. I'm a thinker, and what I found out is not only that I'm a thinker, I'm also a doer. But when I was dealing in situations with people who weren't doers, who weren't thinkers, who managed to stay in this space, then I found myself trying not to do as much because they weren't doing as much, right? So that became a turmoil for me because I'm fighting against something that's naturally of me. And remember, everything that we talk about in these videos is self. Self, self, self. It's how to deal with you, how to get you in a place, how to be of purpose. So once I realized I can't not think, I don't have empty moments of thought. It's who I am. At any given moment, you can ask me, what are you thinking? And I'll tell you. I remember traveling with a dear friend of mine, and she and I were out of the country. And we were riding in a taxi. And we're in the taxi, and I'm looking out the window, and she's looking around. You know, we're just kind of observing our surroundings because that's where we were. You know, we were in a tropical island in the Caribbean, and we're just both doing our own thing. So she asked me, she said, you're really quiet. What's going on? What are you thinking? I said, you know, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, this foliage, these trees remind me a lot of when I was in Hong Kong. I wonder if we're on the same latitude or longitude as Hong Kong. Like, I'm trying to see where Hong Kong is on the globe in reference to this, to see if they're in kind of the same tropical space on opposite sides of the world. And she was like, really? It's not that deep. And I was like, what's not that deep, right? So it almost came off as I was the problem because of what my thought was. So what I've had to do is to figure out, these are my thoughts, and people around me either want them or they don't want them. That's it. If people come around me and we have conversations and they don't like the way my thoughts are going, or my conversation is going, or how I delve into projects, then those people are probably going to go away. I don't have to hold on to them, because they're trying to lessen me. They're trying to make me do less, make me be less. Some people still continue to come around, and they want to hang out because you've got great energy and you're a lot of fun. You've got great energy and you're a lot of fun. It's a family just rode by on bicycles. How awesome, right? So some people still come around because you've got great energy and they just want to hang out with you. And that's cool. So they come around in those times to hang out when you want to hang out. But never, ever, ever put yourself in a situation that somebody's wanting you to do less of you to make them what? More comfortable? No, I said earlier in a video, and I'll say this 100 times. I was not placed here on this globe, within this universe, to be lessened or mistreated by someone else. I'm a firm believer in that. And I will stand up for it every single time that someone's trying to make Joycelyn less. Because I've spent so much time trying to figure it out, who I am. So right now, I know that I'm a thinker. I think all the time. I have a guy that I'm dating, and we've been dating for a bit. He's pretty fun. But he knows that I think, and he knows when I'm in my zone, when I'm in my blah, 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 spitting those ideas out there, and he will receive every single idea. And then a couple of days after I zone through this, going from thought to idea to project, a couple days after, he'll just sit there and say, okay, let's recap what's been going on the last couple, 3 days. What about this? How do you feel about this? And he'll go line item by line item of every idea I've thrown at him, every thought I've had of him. And you know what that made me realize? Is that my thoughts are valuable and somebody is listening and somebody takes them serious, because he sees me and he thinks this chick is great. But I've also had people to look at me and think, this chick is too much. You would be better if this, if only you would this, and my last girlfriend this, and this person did this, and most women this, and I'm just like, hey, I'm not most women, I'm me. Don't compare me to a mass of women. That I'm me. I'm unequivocally Joycelyn on this globe. That's it. I'm not compared to anybody. The only thing I have in common is that I'm female and I live in the southeast of the United States. I went to public school. I went to college. I'm black. So that's it. But when you start looking at the DNA of me, every single aspect of me, there's not a lot of comparisons with me and other people as with you and other people. You're you, you're you, you're you, you're you, I'm me. We can find some common things. If we're all thinkers, great. Let's think, come up with your ideas. Because what people don't realize is that your thoughts, the stuff that you see, the ideas that you have, those are the things that get you on your path. You have to explore the thoughts you have, because that's what gets you on your path. If you're ignoring what's naturally of you, it's going to take you longer to get to where you're supposed to be of purpose. So all you thinkers out there, think away. Try to figure out how to grasp onto those thoughts, how to hold them, how to record them so that you can go back to them. Last thing before I go. In 1998, think of this now. This is 2018. In 1998, I was sitting in a class and I had an idea, an acronym for SHAPE, Self, Health, and Personal Empowerment. In 1998, right? So that means 20 years ago, I had an idea, an acronym, SHAPE, Self, Health, and Personal Empowerment. Guess what? I did nothing with that, but today I own a company called SHAPE, Self, Health, and Personal Empowerment. You can find me on the World Wide Web, my website, my products, my clients, me, my books, right? And it was a thought that I had then, but at the situation that I was in and I started talking about this thought, it was pushed aside because it wasn't as important as the person that I was sharing with. My thought wasn't as important as his thought, and I didn't have a support system to say, go do it, right? And I wasn't well sure enough of myself to just go do it. But every thought that you have is important. Your thoughts are valid, your ideas are valid, your movements are valid, your desires are valid. They're all of you. And if you can figure out how to harness those thoughts and get that energy, then you can get closer to being on your path to being with purpose. I hope you subscribe to my channel. Love, passion, happiness. I'll see you next time.